Share a little bit of insight from Sojourner's magazine regarding this particular reading. What is so revealing about the epiphany that takes place at the baptism of Jesus relates to its context of human turmoil, questioning, and expectation. This is no serene mystical experience in a place apart, but a disclosure that occurs in the muddy river, churned by the bodies of stressed and needy men and women who are at the end of their tether and are stretching out their arms to join to John in a collective yearning for divine intervention on their behalf. Jesus disappears into the noisy crowd of those desperate for healing and purification. People anticipating God knows what solution to their plight. Just as he takes the plunge with them into the water, identifying himself wholly with the masses of the common people in their anguished need for a new beginning, just then, Jesus is singled out as the beloved of God and God's answer to their desperate need. It is by virtue of his emptying solidarity with the people that he becomes open to his vocation as Messiah and catalyst of the inbreaking reign of God. And I think it's an important point for us as members of Christ the Servant Church that Jesus this day goes to John the Baptist. And John the Baptist of the people. At first said, whoa, wait just a sec. It should be you baptizing me, not the other way around. Jesus, no. No, look at all the people that are here. I am of the people. And I'm asking you to baptize me and to welcome me formally into the community of the people. And so that's what John the Baptist does. And of course, the great stamp of approval, if you want to use that phrase, he comes from the river and the heavens open and they say, "This is my beloved Son with whom I am well pleased." That's God saying, what Jesus represents is what I want. And I think that so much applies to us. It so much does. Because Jesus comes to change the status quo. For years and years, for centuries, it has been the rule by officialdom. It was top down. And if you think of last week's Gospel, the Magi coming and worshiping Jesus, now Jesus going and being baptized by John the Baptist, it is the way, as it was referred to in Christianity in the early days. The way is the religion of the people. And it's also an opportunity on a Sunday like this to take a look at sort of what we've done and what we perhaps hope to do in terms of our spirituality. The budget matters, etc., etc. That's, of course, the domain of the board, not of a pastor, as it well indeed that should be the case, right? Of the board, the people's elected representatives. We used a very different approach this year to Advent. And people were fully engaged with that. And in the past, we've used a different approach to Lent, which we will do again, hopefully, this coming year. Because liturgy loses its effectiveness if it becomes rote, if it's the same thing day in, or Sunday in and Sunday out, for decades, for hundreds of years. Because it won't engage the people. Some repetition, of course, is good, it's important. but it has to be different enough to engage the people. I would say 100% of the members of Christ the Servant are here because they're looking for something different. We are all looking to be engaged in our church. Not to become robots, sit here for an hour, respond when you're supposed to respond, stand, kneel, sit, stand, kneel, whatever the circumstances are. It's not that at all. I believe liturgy should engage you, it should challenge you. And if you're challenged and engaged when you leave here, then it's good liturgy. If you're not, it's not good liturgy. Not that it's bad, but it's not good. It hasn't met its purpose for you. And I think that as pastor, one of my jobs certainly is to engage you and to challenge you. Not to say this is right and this is wrong. You can do that yourself. But certainly to challenge you. And I'm a risk taker, so I will challenge you. That's the only way you can do it, right? Not some mundane boredom thing. That's not challenging. That's sleep. You know, wow, that was a great sleep I had. Cure insomnia. Come to Christ the Servant Church here, Pastor Gary preach. Right? Hopefully it's not the case. So what do we see in store for us as our liturgical year, our calendar year comes along? I guess calendar year is a better phrase. We're already in the new liturgical year with Advent. Well, as I said, we want to make Lent, our Lenten season, different, engaging. I'd also like to see some of our community members get back to doing homilies again. It's not easy every Sunday doing this, even though it looks like it comes kind of naturally. You have to put a lot of thought into it. And when you get a gospel like this, John the Baptist baptized Jesus, and you can sum it up in 2 paragraphs. Now, we could say, okay, that's the end of it, let's continue on. You have an early service, everybody says, wow, that was great, we got out early. And if that's the only thing you got from it, getting out early, it's a little shaky, right? So, but I'm not just filling in time here. I do want to let you know that as we proceed, there will be challenges for you to face in terms of our liturgy, in terms of what we are all about. And we had a very successful creation liturgy. I certainly want to see that again. And each time we do it, I'd like to see it expanded a bit. Because it was successful once, you don't need to replicate it exactly the same way. You build it up. Many of us have pets, cats and dogs and chickens that are part of our family. Well, we need to have a service to recognize that. That's something I'd like to see us do as well. And the things that we do very well in terms of connecting with our community, that we need to definitely continue doing. Be it the Greenwood Towers, the Meals in the Bag, our interdenominational services, the Christian unity, etc., that we do and we participate in as time goes on. We need to keep doing that too. And I know that John Parsons, the United Church minister, certainly wants to connect with us for something collaborative, in a collaborative way as well. David Simpson, the pastor at the Roseneath Reserve, wants to connect with us in some way. I'd like to see that happen too. And so there are many things that are out there, great challenges for us to face. And I do want to have somebody come to us, and someone who's been very prominent in the field of let's rebuild church and liturgy. Come to us and work with us. And people like Shane Claiborne, for example. those individuals who see the way, they see Christianity in exactly what we heard this morning. So we have an exciting year ahead of us with some interesting challenges that can take place. Some great Sundays that will occur. And some dull ones. Can't be great all the time because we'd be overflowing at the doors. Then that wouldn't be too good. The collections would be great, but that'd be about it. Right? When you come to Christ the Servant Church, I was telling a friend, there's an expectation. This former student, I said, well, what's so different about you guys? So, well, our liturgy is a lot different. Well, is that like your classroom when you were teaching history? I said, yes, it is. And if you're asleep out there, I'll point you out and pick on you. I said, wow, that's great. Just like you did us in school. You have the same way. Holy smokes, and people still go? I said, yeah, I can't believe it. They still show up. Right? And that's good. Our liturgy is different. Well, what else, Mr. O'Guire? They still call me. I said, well, you know what else? I said, there's an expectation. When you are here on Sunday, it's not just from 10:30 to 11:30. There's a heck of a lot more that goes with it. It's like you signed a contract, and now you're in the pros. There's a whole lot of expectations. And that's the norm for us, doing those things. Just as Jesus asked of his disciples, and I use the phrase with us, and I will, faithful disciples. Not just faithful followers, faithful disciples. Radicals. Dangerous unselfishness. Saints. Those are all words that describe what Jesus is talking about. And so that's where we are, where we're headed, and where we need to keep going. We can't be satisfied with mediocrity. Because then, well, I don't think then we should be here. If that's what it's going to be. We need to keep progressing forward. Jesus didn't stay in one place. He didn't get to a village and say, wow, they really love me here. It's like, I'm going to stay here. He kept moving on. He was all around the Holy Land. Walked, too. That's pretty good. And everywhere he went, the bar would be raised a little higher. And so that's what we're doing. We're moving around. And we're raising that bar of Christianity. And as I said, I'll conclude with, we are working at becoming those faithful disciples